The tide is changing. How many of you know the tide is changing? Women are being elevated into absolutely leadership roles, and still there's much more work to do. You know, when I did some statistical analysis and looked worldwide, there were only 20 female elected presidents, but we've never had a female president in this United States. There are prime ministers who are women that are around the globe. In the business world, there are a lot of women who operate in Fortune 500 and 400 companies. So as women continue their upward spiral, there are things that are going to happen, and they have to really be fully appreciated for the work qualities and responsibilities that they do. Like many of you, I didn't share this, but many of us, from the African American culture, I grew up with a number of strong-willed women. How many of you? Strong-willed, who worked hard. And it was through their traditions and their values and that legacy that I stand before you today. My grandmother, who lived to be 101 years old, Cherokee Indian, full of wisdom, and would have been probably one of the greatest orators if she had been able to have education. She was a historian. She loved to write. She loved to speak. And during her latter years, at age 90, this woman, power broker, because I call her one of those, would sew clothes for children in Africa. She adopted a village and would send and make soap and send clothes and gather clothing for this one village in Africa. And I find it quite interesting that I ended up with touring in Africa. So they taught me one thing, that our instincts and our emotional intelligence is intact. And don't let anybody tell you different from that. So I want you to look at your workbooks and open them up, because we don't spend a lot of time. Let me a little bit more. And see, I have written for you. I have to share this. I've been fascinated for many, many years why women, they're able to take a little bit of information, some of them, and turn their lives around, while others just seem to be in a quagmire and can't seem to change the setting, can't seem to do differently. I found that the answer is really simple, and that answer is what? Action. So you can dream, you can have goals, but unless you take action on those goals, nothing happens. So I did some 5 qualities of women power brokers. 1, what do you have to do as a woman power broker? First of all, you need to be taking care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You come first. I remember I did a seminar in Kenya with seasoned women, telling them that they need to take care of themselves first. Hand holding the relationship with yourself. So just do like this, just hug yourself. I love me. How many of you just love yourself? Some people don't even want to say that. I love me. And it doesn't mean that I feel that I'm any better than anybody else. I don't feel that I have something more than you have, but I know what I have, and I know what I got, and I love that. Okay? And somebody says, oh, she's that and all the bag of chips. Yes, indeed, I'm all of that in bag of chips, because that's how I feel about me. If you don't know who you are, and don't define who you are, somebody else will define who you are. If they can define who you are, they will control who you are. Just that simple. So you need to have a relationship with yourself. And sometimes it can be some challenging times we go through. We're going through some challenging times. Some of you this morning came here, you're going through some challenging times. Some things you have to confront some difficult, painful things. But you have to have compassion for yourself while you go through it. Just had somebody call me this morning about making some difficult decisions to put her mother in an assisted living. But you're resilient. And you can put your hand over your heart and say, what's right for me? You hear me, Melina? What's right for me? Another thing is, when do we communicate our needs to other women? When? You haven't talk about when. When do we communicate what you need to other women? All the time? Quite a bit? Some people, how many of you really don't? You really don't. Because sometimes you feel like communicating a need is communicating weakness, but you don't have it all together. And then you're going to be very selective, and when you communicate that need to the person you think is your BFF, turns around and uses it against you. So don't tell me you communicate your needs. Don't tell me you're selective about who you communicate your needs to. Amen. But a woman power broker has a board of directors, and she chooses wisely who her board of directors might be. Now, it's hard with sociopaths and pathological liars to make that distinction, but you try. Oh, I love this one. God, controlling women. Oh, Lord, help me, deliver me, Father. Anybody know what I'm talking about? If you're one of those, just bow your head and say amen. But a woman power broker has to give up control. You can't control everything and control everybody. You'll make yourself sick. So, so that controlling, because there's so many things that life brings that you're out of control. You can't control everything. And one thing you can't do is control another human being. So she's not, because what I feel is that you're using up your energy trying to control other people's behavior. Move on. Move on. And remember, there are some people that you're just going to have to distance yourself from that relationship because it's toxic. So you're hanging around negative, toxic friends. They could be men as well. Negative, toxic, always complaining. Women power brokers are able to rise above that. I have a secret. Anybody want to know my secret weapon? I wish I could walk. Can I walk with this mic? I like to be in folks' faces when I'm talking. I did that in Kenya. I like everywhere I go. I like to be in your face. Oh, there we are. There we are. Ooh, now I can see everybody. I can just strut. If I want to strut, if I want to touch you. But there's some people that you have to absolutely remove out of your life. And what I do, I have a technique, because there are people that will call you, drain you, and then, girl, and you start to tell them what's going on. Girl, I got to go feed my husband, or the cat, like I got to feed my animals, But they'll drain you. Yeah. Or they'll call to gossip about something that is not important. They call to gossip. Yeah. And Lord knows if 3 of you in a friendship, or 4 of you in a friendship, hallelujah, we have a good time, don't we? Let me tell you about that Melina. Girl, you know what she did? And do you see her when she came in that event? Her dress was up to here. Look, my technique, Robbie, this is the truth. People who know me can tell you. Barbara, girl, let me tell you about Robbie. I said, girl, hold it right there. I said, let's pray. Father, God, we just want to pray for Rosalind right now in the name of Jesus. God, protect her. Yeah. Guess what? They don't call me to. My phone does not ring, honestly, with people talking about anybody. And if you can't call me and we're going to be talking about something uplifting, Peggy, you're a new friend. We talk about uplifting stuff. If you start going on too much about the husband, what he does, I'm like, okay, we got to get you to a counselor. I'm not the counselor. Amen? Okay, because I don't want to aid and abet. Girl, you should leave that guy. That's not my right to tell you. When you get enough, and enough is enough is enough, let me tell you something. You will get to step in. Amen? Amen. Yeah. So we don't have to have those kind of conversations. But remember, you're all women power brokers, and this came out of my heart, out of this book, was how we really, really should take note. Because we are women of influence. That's exactly what a power broker is. Women of influence. But the thing is, who are you influencing? Everybody. Who? Anybody that you're around. Maybe not. How do we influence people? That's the question.
By actions, by our words.
By your actions, by your walk, by your talk. You can't be double talking. You can't walk one way and talk another, or talk one way and walk another, because that's duplicitous. And actually, it's psychotic. It's almost bipolar. Am I telling the truth? So you want to be able to influence people without ever having to say a word. And we're going to talk today about millennials, and do we think millennials are getting a bad rap? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Because truly, my heart goes out to our younger generation. And I know some of you are young at heart. I'm young at heart. But they have a tough road to go. And so as women power brokers, we've got to find ways to reach out to them, men and women, because our men need help too. And we need help. But the first person you got to work on is yourself. And that's why I got this book. Now, I want you to turn over, because when I'm working on myself, let me finish one last quality of a woman power broker that I think is important. And somebody may have something to add. My panelists may want to add more. I think this is so important, and that a woman power broker should have a sense of humor. Some of us just take ourselves too seriously. Right, Peggy? Peggy Buck, right? No, I mean, laughter is good for the soul. Sometimes things happen to me, and I tell people when things happen and the worst thing happened, I just start laughing. My son can tell you that. I just start laughing. Ha, 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 oh my goodness. I just get tickled. And I start laughing because the Lord says, rejoice, I say, rejoice in everything. So when you start rejoicing, it's really funny how the devil gets so mad. How many of you know we got a devil? We got an enemy. Oh, yeah. And he doesn't want you to have no joy. So the sense of humor is important, even in the midst of what you see is an impossibility. Start laughing. You see what happens. That wall starts to come down. You start laughing at it. Yeah. So the sense of humor is important. Keep everything in perspective. But working on yourself is so important. And that's where I started, was working on me. I'm still. And I loved it when Joni said, I'm a work in progress. I love that. I am still, at 78, going on 79, a work in progress. Lord, help me. I don't want to ever stop growing. I want to be one of these older women, oh, girl, done that and tell me I did that in 1947. I want to grow. I want to become more. I want a deeper walk with God. Amen. I want more. And you have to have that hunger for more. If you don't, pray for more. Right. So, I don't want to preach today. I think this is really nice. I wrote this. More importantly, you accept yourself and you allow yourself to make mistakes. And you allow things to take the time that they take. Why do you always have to be in such a hurry? And for goodness sake, stop comparing yourself with somebody else. I think that's a big issue. I'm not as successful as Sister So-and-so. I'm not as, I don't have it going on like so-and-so. Yes, you do. Amen. You got just as much going on as somebody else. It's all in a perspective of how you view yourself, how you view the world. You were all put here for a purpose. You were pre-scripted before you got here. And all you had to do was follow the script. But we wandered around, teetering around, because we got these bodies and it felt really good. Woo! Drinking is good. Sex is good. And so we forgot who we were. We are spirit, soul, and body. And we forget sometimes, and we're so busy with the body that we forgot, oh, honey, the soul, poor thing. If the soul is this. But where's the spirit? Somebody said last night to be quiet. And we have the tea lady being all over the country and all over the world, and the medical effects and the soothing effects of tea. and the properties of tea. I don't think we really grasp the whole meaning of tea. And being able to meditate, to be quiet, incubate, I call it. There's an incubation period. I lost my husband in October, and I knew it was time to incubate. I had to draw close to the source, closer, and get new direction. Incubate. So people say, you're not going to parties, you're not going, you need to be around your friends. No, there's time when you just need to be alone with God. You just need to be alone with yourself sometimes, with your ugly self, with your nasty self, because you know how you are. You got that look on your face. That's okay. You know, I tell people, you get that look. When you get that look, I know that look. Thinking. But that's okay, because it's time today for some introspection. See where I am. Acknowledge where I am. And I want you to look at that. And that's why the workbook for the next page. Now, when I talk about all these qualities, I want you on the next page to list some qualities that you think maybe I missed. Or some qualities you think should be added to that. So that's the next page. Don't get sleepy on me. Next page. I got 5 hours. I'm ready. I'm up and ready. Go. Go. Go, go, go. Okay, so we look. I wrote this. Behind greatness and influence, there is a story. The power, resiliency, and passion of women can and will move mountains. So I want you to add to the list of additional qualities other than those 5 that I stated. Are there some that you feel empowered by? What qualities do you know that you're already practicing? What qualities do you want more of? What qualities you want but you don't know where to begin? What qualities that you need to give more time, focus, and attention to you? Remember, today is about you. Say to yourself, today is about me.